Tajikistan, a landlocked country in Central Asia, has a history that spans several millennia. Its strategic location at the heart of the ancient Silk Road has made it a crossroads of civilizations, a melting pot of cultures, and a stage for political, economic, and religious transformations. This video explores the history of Tajikistan in detail, from its prehistoric origins to its modern developments. The history of Tajikistan begins in the Prehistoric Era, with archaeological findings suggesting human settlement in the region dating back to the Stone Age. The discovery of tools, pottery, and remains at sites like Sarazm, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, indicates a sophisticated agrarian society as early as 3000 BCE. Sarazm served as a key center for trade and cultural exchange between Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, and the steppes of Central Asia. The Bronze Age, circa 2500 to 1500 BCE, saw the development of urban settlements and the rise of the Bactria Margiana archaeological complex, a significant civilization that influenced the region's cultural and economic practices. These early societies laid the groundwork for the later development of more complex empires and cultural identities. By the 6th century BCE, the region that is now Tajikistan was incorporated into the Achaemenid Empire under Cyrus the Great. The inhabitants, primarily Eastern Iranian-speaking people, were organized into satrapies or provinces that contributed to the empire's administrative and economic framework. The Achaemenid period introduced elements of Zoroastrianism, which became a dominant religious and cultural force. The conquest of the region by Alexander the Great in 329 BCE marked a significant shift. Following Alexander's death, his empire fragmented, and Tajikistan became part of the Greco-Bactrian kingdom. This period was characterized by a fusion of Hellenistic and local cultures, evident in art, architecture, and coinage. Buddhism also began to spread in the region during this time, facilitated by the Silk Road's growing importance. The rise of the Kushan Empire in the 1st century CE brought another wave of cultural and religious integration. The Kushans controlled vast territories, including parts of modern-day Tajikistan, and were instrumental in the dissemination of Buddhism from India to Central Asia and China. The Bamiyan Buddhas in neighboring Afghanistan and other Buddhist relics in Tajikistan testify to the region's role as a hub of religious activity. In the 3rd century CE, the Sassanid Empire replaced the Kushans as the dominant power in Central Asia. The Sassanids reinforced Zoroastrianism, but their rule also laid the foundation for later Islamic influences. The Arab conquests of the 7th and 8th centuries introduced Islam, which rapidly became the dominant religion. Tajikistan became part of the Umayyad and later Abbasid caliphates, connecting it to the broader Islamic world. The 9th and 10th centuries marked a golden age for Tajikistan under the Samanid Empire, which is often considered the cradle of Tajik culture. The Samanids, who ruled from Bukhara and Samarkand, both historically tied to Tajik identity, promoted Persian language and culture while supporting Islamic scholarship. During this time, the Persian language evolved into a distinct form, laying the groundwork for modern Tajik. The Samanid period saw the emergence of luminaries like Rudaki, the father of Persian poetry, and Avicenna, Ibn Sina, a polymath whose works in medicine and philosophy were groundbreaking. The flourishing of arts, science, and literature during this time is a cornerstone of Tajik identity. The decline of the Samanid Empire in the late 10th century ushered in an era of Turkic domination. Dynasties like the Ghaznavids, Seljuks, and Khwarezmians ruled the region, introducing Turkic cultural elements while maintaining the prominence of Persian traditions. In the 13th century, the Mongols, led by Genghis Khan, swept through Central Asia, leaving a trail of destruction. The Mongol invasion disrupted trade and devastated cities, but over time, the region was integrated into the vast Mongol Empire. Under Timur, also known as Tamerlane, and the Timurid dynasty in the 14th and 15th centuries, Persian culture experienced a revival. Cities like Samarkand became centers of art, architecture, and learning. By the 19th century, Tajikistan was part of the Emirate of Bukhara and the Khanate of Kokand. However, The expansion of the Russian Empire into Central Asia brought the region under Russian control. Following the Russian Revolution of 1917, Tajikistan underwent significant political changes. Initially, the region was included in the Uzbek Soviet Socialist Republic, but in 1929 it was established as the Tajik Soviet Socialist Republic within the Soviet Union. Soviet policies brought modernization, industrialization, and education, but also suppressed Islamic practices and traditional culture. The collectivization of agriculture and Stalinist purges further disrupted local life. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 granted Tajikistan independence, but the transition was far from smooth. The early 1990s saw a brutal civil war between government forces and opposition groups, including Islamic and democratic factions. The war, which lasted from 1992 to 1997, caused immense human and economic devastation, displacing hundreds of thousands of people. The 1997 peace agreement, brokered by international mediators, brought an end to the conflict. Since then, Tajikistan has worked to rebuild its infrastructure and stabilize its political system, although challenges remain. Today, Tajikistan is a nation striving to balance its historical legacy with modern aspirations. The country faces economic challenges, including a heavy reliance on remittances from migrant workers and limited natural resources. Politically, Tajikistan has been criticized for authoritarian governance under President Emomali Rahmon, who has been in power since 1992. Despite these challenges, Tajikistan continues to celebrate its cultural heritage. Nowruz, the Persian New Year, is a vibrant reminder of its Persian roots, while historical sites like the ancient city of Penjikent and the Fan Mountains attract global attention.